What a crazy last 4 years this has been. I mean, my word. They may be bald right now, but these Toyo tires took me to some of the most amazing places I think that North America has to offer. I mean, these tires have seen Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee. I mean, so many states, so many places, all the beautiful places in Moab, Utah. I mean, I can't help but be grateful. But you know what they say. All good things must come to an end, unless you're into the slick racer look. But while it's been a good 4 years, I think it is time for the Pitbull to get an upgrade. So I've been trying to conjure up some creative way to end this journey. While these tires have served me well, there really is no use in keeping them around. So rather than letting them collect dust on a shelf, I figured I should probably send them off in some Pitbull-worthy fashion. So I like to think I'm a fairly creative guy, but this problem has just kind of stumped me, you know? It's like, should I light them on fire? Should I roll them down a hill? Should I make a desk out of them? I really don't know, but it's gonna be epic. I'll figure it out by the end of the video, so stick around. Now, first things first, what you guys are all dying to know, or not, is what wheel and tire combo have I chosen. Now, disclaimer, a lot of the decisions that I make in this stage of life are more based on looks rather than functionality. So I'll learn someday, maybe the hard way. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my 17-inch fuel vapors. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. No, these are not beadlock, and that may turn into a problem on the trail, but we'll figure that out when it happens.
Hey, there's supposed to be these things called bead locks on the outside of these. Yeah. You might want to try those out.
If any of you guys know how to turn these into bead locks, definitely let me know. That would be great. Just shoot me a comment and we'll see if we can make it happen. So there you have it. Those are the wheels. Now, for the tires, you guys know the story. I've been on bald 35-inch Toyo MTs, taking them to hell and back. And let me tell you, those tires absolutely obliterated any trail I took it on, whether it was trails in Colorado or Arizona or the Rubicon in our own backyard. The things that these tires went over, it absolutely blows my mind what Toyo slicks can do. With that said, I had to go with another set of Toyo MTs because they really are just a gnarly tire. So the only difference is instead of 35s, you know your boy had to pull the trigger on something a little bit bigger. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 37-inch Toyo MTs. Gosh, that didn't work at all. Ta-da! Montage. Now, aside from the fact that I was running absolutely bald 35-inch tires on the Pitbull, the main reason I'm doing the upgrade is because the Nightmare needs its rubber back. Let's fix that right now. Now, the reason I took the Nightmare's wheels and tires was because of the death wobble. And yes, it was death wobble that I was getting in my Bronco with these bald 35s. I swear it happened. Guys, it was death wobble, I swear.
You're clickbait!
Alright, no jelly, baby. We tried to recreate the death wobble. I'm not lying. I promise. Maybe I just tightened everything up just enough to fix it. But let's dive back into the important part of this video. Now, believe me, I didn't want to take the Nightmares tires, but in case anybody missed it, 2021 was a little chaotic and it was kind of hard to get your hands on parts. I mean, anybody ever hear of a back order? Long story short, event season kicked in. The death wobble was so bad with the 35s, I had to borrow the 37s. I ended up having a great season, you know, the usual carnage score, but the tires got me through. So now it's 2022 and the Nightmare's hopefully gonna be seeing a little bit of trail time this year, so it needed its tires back. I had to go on the hunt and find some of my own tires, and I think we landed a good gig. So there's that reason, along with the fact that on March 3rd through the 5th, we'll be hammering the trails out at United by Bronco in Hurricane, Utah. Now, if you haven't heard of the event, go to unitedbybronco.com. All the information is there. Make sure you register. We're gonna have a lot of fun out there rock crawling, doing what we like to do best. Now, if you're watching this after March 3rd through the 5th, then just make plans to come to the Wild Horses Roundup. More information coming April 30th, May 1st. Mark your calendar. But because United by Bronco is right around the corner, we needed to get these parts installed. So as you guys saw in the last Off the Leash, we've got the tires, obviously. We've got the wheels, which is the focus of today's video. But we've also got an exhaust cutout that we're gonna be putting on the Pitbull. I'll be making a separate video on that, along with some other upgrades that I'm not gonna announce as of yet. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that stuff. But for right now, the main reason you guys came is to see these tires and wheels get mounted. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this process started. So there you have it, guys. The new wheels, new tires are officially mounted on the Pitbull. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little thrown off by the look. I mean, maybe it's just because they're so shiny. Maybe it needs some dirt on there. It's got kind of more of a show stance now. I don't know. But obviously this thing is going rock crawling. We're going rock crawling in a couple days here. Kind of the first question to answer is, a lot of you guys are probably gonna wonder what lift I'm running and all of that stuff, all the different specs, because you may or may not like the stance. So for the suspension, I've got a 3.5-inch Wild Horses suspension. I've got a 1-inch Wild Horses body lift, and then I've got 1.25-inch Wild Horses spacers. because these 35s were so wide, and if you look at the lip on this thing, it's so deep, it just caused this thing to stick out a ton, which is why I ran the silverback fender flares to begin with. I think this has a little bit less of an offset, or perhaps it's more of an offset. I still don't understand offsets completely. But the idea is that these tires aren't necessarily sticking underneath these super wide flares, but it might be right, like kind of level. Whereas if you look at this back one, it's kind of sucked in a little bit. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do there. Maybe I'm gonna put a full width in the back and kind of widen it out again, or I might put the Gorilla War flares on. But overall, I do like the stance. Every time I see it, it just grows on me more and more. I mean, that's just kind of how this thing has worked, you know, from the paint job to everything else I've done on this thing. With that said, a couple more things to note with these 37s. I've got a bunch of sharp edges underneath in my wheel well, where when I was running the 37s from the Nightmare, when I took them off, they were a little scuffed up, which I do apologize for that. But we're not gonna make the mistake with these. So at some point during this last couple days that I have to prep, I'm gonna end up cutting a bunch of the sheet metal out of here, making some more space. But with all of that said, there you guys have it. If you got any questions about the specs, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what you think of the setup. You know, if you absolutely hate it, if it's not period correct, you know, let your heart out. I may or may not care, who knows. Again, if you guys know somebody that can beadlock these puppies, I am a little concerned at the moment, but you know, it is what it is. So again, I'll figure out how to make good decisions at some point. Speaking of good decisions, a couple days before United by Bronco, we have to get rid of these tires somehow. And what better way than a nice smoky burnout? Stop. So there you have it, folks. Just another day in the office. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Off the Leash. We've got a bunch more fun stuff going on with the Pitbull. Again, we'll be at United by Bronco. Go to unitedbybronco.com, register, come out and wheel with us. It's gonna be a blast. What else? What else do I gotta say? Subscribe if you're not already. You know, we're not breaking our backs for no reason. We're trying to entertain you guys. Hopefully we're doing a decent job of that. I don't know how much you guys are learning, but maybe you guys are getting some laughs, and who knows. Anyways, guys, with all of that being said, we will see you out there on the trail. Peace!